Okay. Evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm calling to order the meeting of the Planning Commission for December 18th, 2025. Before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody about our meeting format. The meeting is being held in person and on Zoom. We're also broadcasting this meeting on Channel 8 and wheatridgespeaks.org. When it is time for public comment, those who wish to comment on our Zoom connection use the raise your hand button. And if you're dialing in, press *9. We appreciate your participation in tonight's meeting. We hope to create a friendly and respectful atmosphere for dialogue, and we appreciate your help in this process. May I please get a roll call of members?
Anna Sparks.
Here.
Krista Hollop.
Here.
Christine Disney.
Here.
Daniel Gravy.
Present.
Michael Moore.
Here.
Sierra Kionis.
Here. The next order on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we'll approve the order of tonight's agenda. Does anyone have any changes? Seeing none, the agenda will stand as published. Next, we'll vote on to approve the minutes from our last meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I will be abstaining, please.
All right, thank you. If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes from, what date would those minutes be from? I don't have. October 16th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Commissioners, please vote.
Motion approved, 5-0 with 1 abstaining.
We'll now open the general interest public forum. This is a time for any person to speak on any subject not appearing on the agenda. If you plan to speak on an item that is on tonight's agenda, please wait until we get to those items. Is there anyone signed up to speak?
No.
Do we have anyone online?
Sorry, there's 2 people on same name. If you are wishing to speak on anything but what is on the agenda, please raise your hand.
Okay. All right. I will now close the public forum. Tonight we have one public hearing. Let me see this. And before we begin, I'd like to welcome any members of the public who wish to speak on this item. Excuse me, it's been a while since I've been at the chair. We'll start all public hearings with a presentation from staff, and for some cases with a presentation from the applicant. After the presentations, the commission will ask questions of the staff and applicant. After that, we will ask members of the public to comment as well. I will now open the hearing for case number WZ-2501. Commissioner Quinones.
An application filed by Applewood RV Resort LLC for approval of a specific development plan, SEP, to redevelop Lot 1 of the site for 28 RV parking spaces on a property zoned planned commercial development and located at 11600 West 44th Avenue.
Thank you. May we please have a staff report?
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Jana Easley. I'm the planning manager, and I'll be presenting this item this evening in place of Stephanie Stevens, who is the case manager on this project. I am presenting case number WZ 25-01, which is a request for approval of a specific development plan, or SDP, for the redevelopment of Lot 1 of the site for 28 RV parking spaces on a property zoned planned commercial development and located at 11600 West 44th Avenue. At this time, I'd like to enter into the public record the contents of the case file, the zoning ordinance, the comprehensive plan, and this digital presentation. The property is within the city of Wheat Ridge. All appropriate notification and posting requirements have been met, and therefore the Planning Commission has jurisdiction to hear this case. Sorry about that. Okay, you'll see up here on the map that the subject site is outlined in red, and the property is located on the south side of West 44th Avenue, just east of Tabor Street. According to the Jefferson County Assessor, the site is approximately 271,640,000 square feet, or 6.236 acres in size, and currently contains the Applewood RV Resort. There are multiple buildings located on the property currently used for commercial and retail purposes and offices, in addition to the RV parking spaces located on the southern portion of the site. The site is zoned Planned Commercial Development, or PCD, under the Prospect Park Place ODP, or adjacent properties to the north are zoned Residential 3, R3, Commercial 1, C1 to the west, and Agricultural 1, A1 to the south and east. And you can see the zoning map is on the screen. Uses in the vicinity include residential, commercial, and parks and open space. This request for an SDP approval is a second step in a two-part approval process pertaining to planned developments. The first step is the Outline Development Plan, or ODP, which for this property was originally approved in 1984 and recently amended in 2024 under case number WZ 24-07 to allow for the subject RV park expansion. The second step for development in a planned commercial development requires approval of a specific development plan, SDP, for each building, lot, or phase. The SDP focuses on specific details of development such as final drainage, architecture, lot layouts, specific building location, building orientation, and phasing. The SDP must be found to be compliant with the ODP in order to be approved. The request for an SDP application must be heard at a public hearing before the Planning Commission, which is the final deciding body for an SDP approval. The criteria for review and analysis of the SDP are provided in the attached. Okay, this is the ODP up on the screen, and the ODP depicts the site broken up into two separate phases. Phase 1 is on the south, Phase 2 is on the north. Phase 1 originally was entitled in 1989, and it currently contains the RV campsites that have been existing. No changes are proposed in Phase 1. It will remain as is. Phase 2, which is the north part of the site, contains a main entrance onto the site situated along West 44th Avenue. The existing commercial buildings and house on the north side are proposed to be demolished, and the site will be redeveloped to accommodate more RV campsite spaces. One building along the western property line is proposed to remain and to be converted for restroom facilities. Despite being labeled as two separate phases, the site will function as a whole with the expansion of the campground. The applicant is requesting to demolish most of the existing commercial buildings on the north portion of the site and expand the RV park to include 28 additional spaces, and updating the site to include interconnections, parking, ADA accessible routes, landscaping and buffering, and infrastructure upgrades. And I'll walk through the proposed conditions in more detail on the next slide. So here's the site plan. This is the SDP. Access into the site is still proposed will be converted to a restroom facility and will meet the development standards of the ODP, including setbacks, height, and coverage. Vehicle parking is accommodated at each campsite. In addition, the applicant is proposing 8 guest parking spaces for standard vehicles, including 1 ADA accessible space and 2 EV-ready spaces, which meets the code requirements. The parking will be located in front of the existing building that is to remain on the west side of the site. The code requires that any areas subject to wheeled traffic must be paved, and the SDP proposes that all private roads and drives on the site will be paved with asphalt. The SDP is providing approximately 34% landscaping with phase 2, a 20-foot landscape buffer with dense plantings along West 44th Avenue is also provided in conjunction with an opaque wood fence to buffer the RV parking from the street as required by the ODP. In all other areas, the project will comply with the zoning code, including lighting, fencing, signage, and streetscape design. Full water quality is provided for phase 2 redevelopment within 3 rain gardens that are incorporated into the site. A full drainage report and final design was provided with the SDP application and has been approved by the engineering division. A trip generation letter was submitted as part of the SDP application and has been approved by the engineering division. Traffic from the proposed development is not anticipated to have an impact on traffic in the neighborhood, as trip generation is expected to be low given the proposed use. Since Wheat Ridge is served by special districts, we sent the application on referral to outside agencies, including fire, water, sanitation, etc., as well as completed an internal review. We did not receive any objections from the agencies, and coordination with these districts is ongoing. Civil construction documents are nearing approval. Recommended conditions of approval have been added to: number 1, require public improvements, including undergrounding of the overhead utility lines along 44th Avenue, and installation of street lighting to occur with the building permit. And number 2, right-of-way dedication and easements by a separate document must also be recorded prior to recording the SDP, since replatting of this site was not required. Before the hearing, the property was posted for 15 days and letters were sent out to property owners and tenants within a 1,000-foot radius, and the property was posted to Wheat Ridge, and the project, was posted to Wheat Ridge Speaks. To date, no comments have been received on Wheat Ridge Speaks or otherwise. So staff finds that the SDP is consistent with the ODP and is in compliance with all standards set forth in the ODP and the city code. The SDP is consistent with the purpose of a planned development, and all agencies serve the property. Ultimately, staff is recommending approval with the conditions as listed in the staff report. This concludes my presentation. Thank you. The applicant is also here, and they also have a presentation.
Thank you. You may come forward. Please state your name for the record.
My name is David Tyson. I'm with LJA, and the address is 4700 South Syracuse Street, Suite 500, Denver, Colorado, 80237.
Thank you. make sure when you speak into the microphone, you can lift that up so people on TV can hear.
I'll try. Okay, so first off, I'm going to thank Wheat Ridge Planning for the excellent presentation. I agree with everything, so I'm going to try to be kind of brief on this, but just touch on a few things that seem like it confused people in some of the previous hearings. So first off, well, the owner was going to speak for the first half of this presentation, but they were not available tonight, so they asked me to go ahead and take care of their portion of it. So I'm going to do my best on that. And as stated before, the project does, include the addition of 12 full hookup RV sites along with upgrades to the site for circulation, utilities, stormwater management, emergency access, and bringing the property into full modern Class A resort standards. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Applewood RV Resort has legally operated in Wheat Ridge for many years. Over the past decade, both RV sizes and guest demands have grown dramatically. Since coaches are longer, wider, and heavier than when the park was originally designed. As a result, the older pad layouts create operational constraints limiting turning radius, tighter circulation paths, and reducing maneuvering space for both guests and emergency vehicles during peak seasons. This expansion is not growth for the sake of growth. It is necessary modernization and converts outdated infrastructure into code-compliant layouts that better manage the existing demand within the property boundaries, preventing spillover parking, congestion, and circulation issues that could affect the adjacent neighborhoods. This project keeps all guest activity fully on site where it belongs and upgrades the facility to current safety standards. The site diagram illustrates the relationship between the original phase. I think I'm on the wrong slide, but I'm not going to go backwards. And the phase 2 expansion area. Existing conditions reflect legacy designs that were not built for today's RV footprints and traffic volumes. This has driven the need to reorganize circulation patterns, widening emergency access lanes, and upgrade utilities to meet present-day demand, safety, and efficiencies. The proposed expansion significantly reduces daily operations in 5 key ways. First, traffic circulation is fully looped and internalized, eliminating backup patterns and restricting guest movements to controlled drive aisles. Second, standard pad dimensions allow proper parking for modern RVs without encroaching on driving lanes or pedestrian areas. Third, full utility hookups eliminate the use of temporary connections and extensions, improving safety and reducing maintenance risk. Fourth, ADA access routes are improved across the pedestrian corridors and common areas, ensuring accessibility is no longer compromised by legacy grading. Finally, streamlined check-in and departure flows reduce congestion during peak turnover, keeping traffic calm and controlled within the park footprint. The layout shows the loop system creates low-speed, one-way traffic movements with consistent visibility throughout the property. These circulation improvements increase safety for guests, pedestrians, and service vehicles while maintaining efficient access for staff and emergency responders. Fire access and emergency response standards were central to this design. The site incorporates fire code compliance lane widths, approved turning templates for apparatus access, and reinforced pavement sections capable of supporting emergency vehicle loads. Utility upgrades includes systematic water and sewer line improvements to meet capacity demands and ensure reliable service. Rain gardens and storm systems were integrated throughout the plan to manage runoff, prevent storm downstream effects, and reduce strain on municipal systems. Lighting improvements utilize fully shielded downward directing fixtures to improve security on site while protecting neighborhood properties from unwanted glare. Neighborhood compatibility has remained a core priority throughout the design review process. All traffic remains internal to the sites. No new streets, curb cuts, or connections were planned. Landscape buffers for privacy, fencing shield visual impacts, while lighting controls illuminate within the park boundaries. Operations remain professionally managed with posted quiet hours and active on-staff supervision, preventing noise impacts. The project will have community benefits as reinvesting into existing legally established business rather than introducing new land use pressures elsewhere in the city. Guest support Wheat Ridge restaurants, fuel station, retail stores, service providers, generally consistent with local economic benefit. Property improvements increase long-term access value and lodging tax revenues while ensuring that an aging facility is upgraded responsibly rather than allowed to degrade. It doesn't go forward one. Applewood RV has responsibly operated within the community and across multiple states with a consistent focus on regularity, compliance, and community partnership. The Phase 2 expansion reflects not expansion for disruption, but modernization for stability, safety, and compatibility. Applewood RV Resort Phase 2 expansion represents a proactive step in the responsibility meeting challenging operational demands while protecting neighborhood character and improve public safety. Now I'm going to move on to a short technical explanation of some of the other items that came up during the STP review. And this will just provide a little more clarification on some of those issues that may be important. The project limits were shown on the slides earlier, and it's the northern portion of the property. And only the northern portion of the property was included in this SDP. The southern portion of the property is the existing fully functional RV resort with no changes proposed. I provided a slide, which I'm having trouble getting to. Maybe I can go backwards to it. And it also demonstrates that no portion of the project included in this SDP is in a flood hazard area. That had come up once before. I wanted to make sure everybody was clear on that. As previously stated, the existing commercial development on the northern portion of the property will be removed, and then the project will be redeveloped. As part of this project, we did have to do a traffic memo. And as part of this traffic memo, we evaluated that the removal of approximately 11,500 square foot of existing commercial building space will result in the elimination of 626 daily trips. And then what we did is we went back and evaluated the new developments, which is 28 RV spots, which are a low traffic producing use. And they resulted in a net reduction of trips per day of 593 daily trips, thus reducing the traffic in the area, and it should actually see a slight improvement. Although it's a major road, it should be not an issue. As part of the SDP process, the project was required to provide a comprehensive landscape that was described earlier. And this is the landscaping plan as shown on the screen. Several trees, bushes, shrubs, mulch, fence, with the major one being along the 44th Avenue. That was part of an ODP condition for the rezoning of the property, that we would provide a 20-foot buffer adjacent to 44th, where we would provide enhanced landscaping, buffer fence, and other amenities to that area. And we also included pedestrian lighting to improve the safety in that area. So sorry about the slight technical difficulties. That concludes the presentation. I appreciate your time and am available to answer any questions from you or public comment.
Thank you. I'm going to now open the hearing for public comment. Those who wish to comment on Zoom, use the raise your hand button. And we have one person who has signed up to speak, Dave Nosler, if you'd like to come forward and state your name and where you live.
Thank you. Dave Nosler, 11691 West 45th Place, which is the townhome section directly across from the proposed site. My main concerns are the traffic involved on 44th Avenue after we have had successive development proposals as well as actual developments around the Tabor Street, 44th Avenue, and now to be clear, this is adding 28 residences, spaces that are actually longer-term places for RVs to stay. Most of the existing spaces, which are close to, by my count, is close to 50 on the existing site. So we're talking about 80 potential short-term residences, because a lot of the occupants of the existing site are contractors that work in the area. If you visited the site, they all have skirting on them. They're there for the long term, for a month or two. And they all take their individual vehicles and pull out of the one ingress and egress site that's on this existing site. And what is proposed is that same single ingress and egress. And it's out onto 44th. 44th at that point is a double yellow line. Everybody that comes out of my development and wants to head east on 44th has to either break the law and cross the yellow line, or drive down to Edwards Meats and do a U-turn, an allowed U-turn, which is 2 blocks away, and come back down 44. Or the other access is out onto Tabor Street, which is becoming a real bottleneck for not only during rush hour, but at all times of the day, because you have Heine's Market right there, and you have a brand new development, which is 20 units of 2-car garages that are also coming out of one entrance onto Tabor Street. Our developments exit onto Tabor, if we wanted to make a legal left turn, is directly across from that development's only ingress and egress. We have a real bottleneck there at Tabor Street. And when traffic is so thick that people can't easily make a left turn and you start jamming up cars, they pull down 45th Place and go out and make the illegal left turn onto 44. Now, with this proposed development and out of the existing RV resort, you have people having the choice in the big RVs of trying to enter onto I-70 to continue their travels, if that's what they're doing. But if they're going to work and want to get onto I-70, they either have to cross the double yellow line and enter directly right onto I-70, or drive down to Kipling, which is 5 or 6 blocks away, and then access I-70 off of Kipling. So the thought here is not against the development, but you have to take a realistic approach as to how do we handle this traffic on 44th in this area. There's another proposed development just directly across from this development that you worked on in August. And my thought on a solution would be to, let's start with this development. On the south side of 44th is a large sidewalk that nobody uses. It's all commercial development on that side. And if we could scale that back and put in a center line where that allows traffic to pull off, pull out onto 44th, make left-hand turns, and accelerate into that center lane, and take that all the way down 44th. There's that same sidewalk all the way. And I know we've used it in Wheat Ridge before on 38, where you're looking to access businesses. This is access for residents to make a reasonable commute and entrance onto 44th. But without some solution proposed, for this. It's really unfair to the citizens of Wheat Ridge to allow a proposal like this. I can tell you that there aren't 600 vehicle uses off of this existing commercial property. There's a yarn shop, and there's maybe 1 or 2 cars there. It's a great yarn shop. I'm glad it's there, but that's the only thing that's there. There's not 600 cars coming in and out of that commercial development. So please keep that in mind, that we have serious traffic issues here, and they need to be addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nosler. Do we have anybody on Zoom?
There are possibly 2 people on Zoom. If you would like to speak, can you please raise your hand? You're raising a hand.
All right, thank you. Would the applicant like to address any comments made by the public? You come forward.
So the comment came up concerning the existing commercial traffic counts. Now, that's done, basically, it's commercial retail. That's what it's classified as, 1,200, a little under 12,000 square foot. So you plug that number in, and that is what you would have to design for, is the number of units. Now, because this has been slated to be removed for a number of years, it is not probably up to full capacity that it should be, and that's what the resident is talking about. And that's why he's thinking that the numbers are off. But if this was modernized and brought up to, they spend a lot of money on it, they probably would have 600 vehicles a day for people going in and out to buy stuff all day long. So I think that's where the little bit of disconnect has come from. And, the 28 campgrounds, resident campground, that's kind of splitting hairs there. It's a camping is what it's zoned as. So, they're just RV camping spots. And that, based on that number, that's where the delta came from, is the published traffic numbers for the different uses.
All right, thank you.
Does that help clarify things?
There may be more questions from commissioners. All right, I'll now entertain questions from the commissioners. Commissioner Hedges, do you have any questions? Are you Sparks?
Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
I do.
I beg your pardon.
Don't worry about it.
Commissioner
I'm
Sparks.
newer. I'm newer to the commission. I'm presuming the fire department did a review, and typically fire departments like to have more than one access, but I understand that this is like an older facility, maybe grandfathered in for that purpose or whatnot. But I don't know if there's a possibility that it was looked at to possibly have like a shared access to the west, where there's like just for regular cars to pass through as a secondary access, or some other nature like that, so that not everything's coming out of the one access.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner Sparks. It was sent on referral to our Arvada Fire Protection District. They issued a can serve subject to district requirements, which means that the developer will have to continue coordination with the fire district on any, on the development as it proceeds.
Thanks, Jana.
In the very early stages of this project, during conceptual phases, I personally met with the fire department 2 different times to review secondary access, fire hydrant locations, and all that. And they said that everything was fine. They had no objections to the way it was set up. So we made sure we had their blessing before we even moved to the first submittal with the Wheat Ridge Planning Department.
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore.
Currently, the questions that I've had have actually been addressed in either presentation or the questions. I may have some in a few.
Commissioner Holland.
Thank you, Chairman. I had a question about the traffic study and your comment on the types of vehicles, especially the size of RVs growing. I'm just curious in the traffic study if you know if all classes of vehicle are considered the same, or do they break it out by there might be a reduction in, I forget what the first class is, but there'll be an increase in like Class C.
I don't think the RVs were broken out separately because normally when they come in, if it's an RV and a car, they come in as one unit and they're not load rated as much as like an 18-wheeler or something. So I don't think we really did break that out.
Okay, thank you for that. I think my experience leads me to believe that larger vehicles could also cause more traffic congestion as opposed to vehicles that might be sort of using the space for retail. So that's where the question's coming from. And then I just wanted to make a comment, I guess clarify. So what I understood from your comment about the how the traffic study was conducted. So it sounds like there's no material reduction in traffic right now because they're not actually using that to full capacity. But the traffic study would show that there would be a decrease overall in traffic if it were at capacity right now, but it's not. Is that fair?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Commissioner Gravy.
Can you remind me, I think we talked about this in the ODP, but what's the maximum length of stay at the park for the vehicles?
I can answer that. It's a 30-day maximum stay, and then I believe last time when we were looking at the ODP, the owner was here, wish they were here tonight, but I believe they did say that there was an opportunity to renew if it was somebody who was like a nurse at the hospital working on a 45-day assignment, for example, that they would have an opportunity to renew, but the maximum lease under our code is 30 days.
And then to the residents' question about the propensity in this part of town for folks to take left turns across yellows, I've witnessed that, elsewhere in this part of our community, and to some extent have identified it as a potential safety hazard. And I'm wondering if that was considered during this review about increasing an already area that's already prone for that.
Yeah, and please do speak into your mic. It's a little bit hard to hear.
Sorry.
That's okay. Yes, our engineers did look at the traffic analysis that was done, the trip generation letter. And I did want to mention that our Public Works Department right now is looking at improvements to the intersection of 44th and Tabor specifically. We do have a 44th area sub-area plan, and then we also have our streetscape design manual and other relevant documents that are helping guide that process. So they are looking at 44th holistically, not just for this particular development, but all along that stretch. And especially the closest to this would be the Tabor intersection that they're right now looking to get a design on to help out with traffic in the area overall.
Okay, no further questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Quinones.
Hello. First, I want to direct a statement to the resident. I really appreciate you making the time to come and voice that that concern, because it is a concern that I think those of us that drive 44th on a regular and take advantage of all the shops that are there, or even going to Prospect Park, like we see it, we understand it. And Jana, thank you so much for letting us know that you are looking into it. It's a little bit, I will say it's a little bit tricky at times to be in this role because we have to take in consideration the community and the impact that this will have in the community, but we also have to take in consideration, does this fill a need within our community, which I believe in this case it actually does. But I want to thank you for bringing up the concern and for, working on that from a city perspective. And I really, truly have no questions. I just really wanted to make those statements.
All right, are there any further questions from any commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Holland.
Thank you, Chairwoman. Just to follow up on that, do we have a sense then of how the timing of that look at 44th Street corridor would intersect with this development going forward, assuming that it moves forward tonight?
I really don't. I know that, like I said, Public Works right now is looking at getting a design for that particular area. And then the 44th area, or the 44th Avenue sub-area plan, it's got some good recommendations in it too along that stretch. And those will begin to be implemented with some of these intersection improvements. And also next year when we really start delving into implementation of city plan and implementation of the 44th Avenue sub-area plan, I think there will be some considerable improvements along 44th that will help with traffic and pedestrians as well. I think that the timing on this, given the fact that the RV park would not be constructing new buildings or something like that, and it is an existing access, I'm going to say that probably this will predate the future improvements that would occur, but all of that is being taken into consideration at the same time, like I said, kind of holistically across that corridor. I drive it too. Driven it a long time, so I empathize with the traffic concerns there as well.
Thank you, Jana.
All right, thank you. Seeing as there's no further questions, I'm going to close the public hearing. And do we have any discussion? Actually, I'll entertain a motion, and then we'll have a discussion about that motion, and you can make comments at that time. So, do I have a motion? Commissioner Quinones.
I definitely do. Be ready. I move to approve case number WC-25-01, a request for approval of a specific development plan to redevelop Lot 1 of the site for 28 RV parking spaces on property zone planned commercial development and located at 11600 West 44th Avenue for the following reasons. The specific development plan is consistent with the purpose of a planned development as stated in section 26-301 of the Code of Laws. The specific development plan is consistent with the intent and purpose of the outlined development plan. The proposed uses are consistent with those approved by the outlined development plan. All responding agencies have indicated that they can serve the property with improvements installed at the developer's expense. The specific development plan is in substantial compliance with the applicable standards set forth in the outline development plan and with the city's adopted design manuals,
Thank you.
with the following condition.
Excuse me. Drama.
Building permit submittal shall be consistent with the SDP. Right-of-way dedication and easements by separate documents shall be recorded prior to the recording of the SDP. Public improvements, including the undergrounding of overhead utility lines and installation of street lights, shall be required as a condition of building permit approval.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
So moved, so seconded.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Do we have any discussion on the motion? I'll start with you, Commissioner Quinones. Do you have any comments at this time?
No additional comments, no, thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gravy.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to just reiterate Commissioner Quinones's, recognition, acknowledgement of the residents' comments. I think that it's important to have that perspective from folks who are more directly impacted from these types of things. I do think it's difficult in this in this venue to try to resolve issues that are more broadly affecting the larger built area rather than the specific site. And so that does become a challenge. I mean, my understanding is, as it's easily indicated, there are works, there are public works and, movement in the city to look at this area. And if I'm not mistaken, there's also funding associated with, passage of a bond. And so I do think that there's a promise, there's good, likelihood that there will be, some of these will be addressed. And so I do think that, in many ways, this is an upgrade to the site. Looking at 85 plus trees, but, with regard to the primarily the traffic issue, but what was alluded to by my colleague here is that, there is a housing shortage and there has been a shift in lifestyles, and there's a lot of folks utilizing RVs and this type of thing. And, I do think it's, reasonable for a community to accommodate different ways that people live. So for that reason, I will be supporting it, but I do acknowledge the broader challenges, and I appreciate the comments that were made tonight. Thank you.
Commissioner Hollop.
No comments.
Commissioner Moore.
No comments.
Commissioner Sparks.
Yes, I would like to say that I appreciate the addition of the water quality on this particular redevelopment. It doesn't have that today. It's so old. They developed these sites to such imperviousness that between the trees that were mentioned and the water quality, it's really going to help out the nearby lakes quality as well.
I could not agree more about the condition of traffic in that part of town. It is a nightmare. I love to shop at Heine's, but I hate to shop at Heine's because you try to turn left, you take your life into your hands. There at Tabor, it's a joke. And I'm not sure why CDOT redeveloped that area like they did, because they didn't make it better, they made it worse. And I will stand on that hill and die because I think CDOT is a terrible agency for designing traffic patterns. They never do anything good, so I'm sorry. I don't think that this particular business needs to be punished because of bad traffic design, and I do support the redevelopment as I did before. But I do have a question. When the ODP came before us at the time, my partner, who's an avid RVer, made the comment after the meeting that he did not think that turning left across that yellow line was an illegal turn. Does anybody know if that's the case? I thought that was just, you can't pass, but I didn't know you couldn't turn. You cannot, okay. So maybe, I don't know why it's there. It doesn't seem to be helping traffic. It seems to be making worse. Is there some way that you could go to the traffic people and say, can we get rid of one of the lines so people can turn left and we can ease some of the issues with congestion?
Yeah, that's some of what they'll be looking at.
Okay.
One thing that you can do to really improve roadways and traffic patterns is restriping. It helps create bike lanes. It helps create center turn lanes that are potentially safer than the condition that we have out there now. So I know that they're looking at all of that. I know that our guiding documents talk about that quite a bit. And I don't know exactly what the plan is at this point because I'm in community development, not public works, so I don't have that information right at my fingertips. But I do know that they are, and we are, through our long-range planning documents, looking at 44th very carefully.
And the other comment I will add to that is if you're westbound on 44th and you want to go to Edwards Meats, you have to make a U-turn or turn illegally, which I choose to do because I rebel that way. All right, so enough discussion. Any more comments? All right, I will ask for vote. Commissioners, please vote.
Motion approved, 6-0.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Osler, for coming tonight. Appreciate it. Is there any old business? Do we have any new business?
Yeah, I've got a couple of updates. First of all, congratulations to Pat Quinn. We know that he is on council, and also Susan Wood was appointed to fill in for Corey's place. So yes, we are going to be getting a couple of new planning commissioners in the new year. I believe that will occur in February. So let's see here. Our next meeting, because of the January 1st holiday, our next meeting would be January 15th. I don't believe we have any cases yet, but that I suppose could change, although I think we're getting down to the wire on that one. So probably not a case in January. We will let you know, though. As I mentioned, the clerk's office will start recruiting for replacements for planning commissioners. Second meeting in February, I believe, is the date that will be done. And then in March, you will have your election of chair and vice chair. Oh, let's see here. I've got some other quick updates. Hopefully they won't take too long, but E5X did close on the property, the Lutheran Legacy Campus property. So that they've closed on it. The concept and the plat have been approved. We'll be holding pre-application meetings for the next plats and site plans and that sort of thing coming up. We also have a lot of grants going on. We are, in addition to a grant that we're working on with the Sustainability Office through the Colorado Energy Office, we are applying for a couple of, well, one at least, Transit-Oriented Communities Infrastructure Grant to help Foothills Regional Housing with the public improvements at the Ridge Road site. So fingers crossed that we get that. The city would be the entity awarded, although no money would come out of the city coffers for that. That would all be paid for between the developer and the grant. Let's see here. And just a quick reminder, don't forget that we've got the projects and properties map that you can always look for project updates on. That is updated weekly. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Yes, and I'll ask for any updates from commissioners or comments.
Jana, could you just clarify when the opening for the commissioners will be as opposed to when they'll be elected or appointed?
I don't have the exact opening date. Let me see if I can find that. I assume
I
right
think
after
it's
the first of the
open now.
year. It might be open now. Yeah. They usually allow a couple of months. So
And that's on the website? Is that where we
Yes.
should point people?
yes, I will find that for you.
Thank you.
Any updates from commissioners? Yes, Commissioner Holland.
I just wanted to compliment the city for the restriping improvements on 29th and 26th Avenue from Sheridan West. They really have been making my life more enjoyable in that area, so thank you.
I'll pass
Commissioner
that
Gravy?
along.
Yeah, a couple quick comments. I will just mention that I just the other day or yesterday or today or something, I saw folks using the continuous flow on Wadsworth, and it looks like a lot of the work material has been removed, and it really is taking shape, and it's super exciting. It's having, experienced it for 3+ years construction. So congratulations to this city. I'm really excited to see that design become normalized and, kind of calm down the folks who are nervous about it. I have another very petty small comment for the city that I told a resident or neighbor that I would mention. There's this very strange old clock on 38th and Harlan that is some I don't know, legacy sculpture thing, but it's a non-functioning clock, and a couple of my neighbors are like, "Why is that there? It makes us seem old and dated." Anyway, something to just mention. Is curious of what is the plan for that strange thing. Okay. Told a neighbor I'd mention it. So thank you so much, and happy holidays to everybody.
Just to go back to Commissioner Hollow's question, yes, the boards and commissions openings, it's open for applications now, and you can go onto our website, which is still not for long. Soon it will be wheatridge.gov, but for now it's ci.wheatridge.co.us. If you go across the top on the left-hand side, you go to your city and go to boards and commissions, and you will find all of the information about how to apply on that website.
May I have a motion to adjourn? Oh, I'm so sorry.
It's
Commissioner
okay.
Sparks, I apologize once again to you.
It's okay. I'm new. We'll all get used to each other. It'll be awesome. So we have the experience of having the electrical being replaced in our neighborhood, and we got a whole new electrical line service coming to our building, and so we don't get the lights flashing as much anymore. And they're going to keep refreshing the neighborhood lights for the residences. So a big effort they're going through. There's been a lot of rolling closures and stuff, and things are getting better. I love it.
Good news for once. Yay. All right. Anybody else? No? May I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
Commissioners vote?
Motion approved, 6-0.
We are adjourned.